Next up, let's talk about partnerships. So a major part of what has driven the influx of capital into the crypto market is partnerships. This can come in the form of crypto to private partnerships, crypto to public sector partnerships, crypto sponsorships, and more. Let's talk about crypto to private sector partnerships. One example of a crypto to private sector partnership involves Visa, Circle, Crypto.com, and Anchorage Bank in March 2021. The partnership set out to allow Crypto.com users to pay for real-world items and services in USDC using their Visa crypto debit cards. The US dollar coin USDC payments would be processed on the Ethereum blockchain with the help of Anchorage Digital Bank, which is the first crypto bank with a national banking license in the US. In case you don't understand how credit card transactions work, here's a brief rundown. So let's say the consumer person buying something is trying to buy something from a merchant at a store. Typically, this would have to go through the issuer, which debits the consumer's account for the $100, right? And would pay $98.20 to Visa. Visa would be this switch, this middleman. So there's multiple middlemen in this process. Visa would receive that $98.30 and would pay the resulting $98.09 to the acquirer. So Visa gets a cut out of that, and then the acquirer would take that money, take a cut out of that. Let's say maybe 20 cents. I don't know. This is something that can vary from card to card, acquirer to acquirer. And finally, the merchant would receive that $100, but after all the cuts, they would only really truly receive about like $97.76. All right, these are just examples. Now, instead of having to use previously you have to use fiat currency, now the person can now use their crypto, including USDC and maybe other cryptocurrencies, and this is all done with the facilitation of Visa and Anchorage Bank. Another type of partnership is a joint establishment, joint collaboration between crypto and public sectors. So there's been a lot of speculation regarding the transition from traditional fiat currencies, which are government-issued currencies such as the dollar, the euro, and the transition from those currencies to central bank-issued digital currencies, also known as CBDCs. One of the first partnerships in this realm involves the Stellar Development Foundation and the Ukrainian government, where the goal of the partnership is to develop a CBDC for the 44 million citizens residing in the Ukraine. Testing has begun on the Stellar blockchain, but it is yet to be released for public use. So here we see a situation where the Ukrainian government is very interested in crypto, the population is very interested in crypto and in digital assets, and they have a partnership, the government has a partnership with Stellar, the company behind, the nonprofit, I should say, behind XLM, in regards to creating a digital currency that is issued by the government, a CBDC, that the 44 million citizens could use. And here's just a headline. This is from Cointelegraph, where we see the headline, Ukraine taps Stellar to develop digital asset infrastructure, including CBDC framework. Another type of partnership is found through crypto sponsorships. Crypto-based companies have begun to deploy major sponsorships with a variety of companies and businesses around the world. Some examples include FTX, which is a crypto exchange. They formed a $210 million naming rights deal with esports brand Team Solo Mid. FTX also secured a 19-year contract equating to about $135 million with the Miami-Dade County to have the naming rights to the arena that the Miami Heat play in. So they actually own the naming rights to a famous stadium. Crypto.com is another competing exchange. They're sponsoring the UFC, which is a $175 million deal where the Crypto.com logo will be advertised on uniforms, arenas, locker rooms, and more. And Crypto.com also has a contract with the Staples Center with the purchasing of the naming rights for $700 million, where the Staples Center, which is where the Lakers play in Los Angeles, will now be called the Crypto.com Arena. So that was a pretty big deal and still continues to be a pretty big deal. Here are some examples of the sponsorships. This is a UFC uniform, an athlete's gear, athlete's uniform. We can see Crypto.com is on their gear, and even if you watch the UFC fights, you'll see the Crypto.com labels and titles, the advertising everywhere on the ring, on the banners on the side of the fight, and many other places in the arenas. Here's the FTX Arena. This is in Miami, Florida. As you can see, it's renamed to FTX. Same thing with Crypto.com. It previously was called the Staples Center. It was a world-renowned international arena. Now it's called the Crypto.com Arena.